Right. So, welcome everyone to Livestream Stars. I'm Ross Brand. This is the show where we feature talented broadcasters delivering high quality content across live stream platforms. And my guest tonight is Nazim Beltran, joining us all the way over from Italy. Thanks so much for staying up late, Nazim. It's so great to have you on the show and have you back. We had a great conversation back, I think, in September, all about lifestyle blogging. And now there's so much going on with live video and new apps and all sorts of things. So we get into sort of the live stream stars thing. We'll also get an update on what's going on with Casa Casey. But tell us, what have you been up to the last 6 months? Any major news? Any major developments? I know you were heading to Snap Happen, I think, the last time we talked.
Yes, that's right. I went over to Snap Happen in London, and it was very, very interesting. I met a lot of great folks, Virginia Sala Castillo and Carlos Gil, and also Chris Cubby, which was a lot of fun. I mean,
nice.
We discussed a lot, a lot of great folks, and we discussed a lot of interesting things. Snapchat's very interesting. There was a lot of very interesting presentations, and it was good for networking and talking a little bit about what we do, which, it's all connected to live streaming and all the platforms that exist out there.
Right. And I guess we might as well get right into the big news, which is Instagram is now allowing, at least in the US, is allowing people to go live from their phones in their stories, not on your main account page, but in your stories temporarily. Have you checked it out? And if so, what do you think so far?
This afternoon, I got back from the house and I was already seeing a couple of people that were mentioning it. So I went and checked out, and I was able to look at Brian Fanzo doing one,
Right.
and Q Monique was doing another one, and Gary Vee was on it. Then I checked it on my app, and obviously it was not available. It's supposed to be available by the Boomerang section. There was no live. People were saying that that's where you locate. So it's being rolled out slowly, I would assume.
So I have my phone here, and I was actually thinking, should I just go ahead and try it while we're talking? Should I just go ahead and see?
Go for it, buddy.
All right. So I'll hit the start live button. It's checking connection. Shouldn't be stealing any Wi-Fi because my computer's plugged in, so we should be good.
Okay.
And here we go. Here we go. So hey to everyone on Instagram. We are now live on Instagram as well as on Facebook Live, and we'll just check it out for a couple minutes. Wow, already a few people are watching. If you're watching, leave a comment or let us know. Foso Social says hello. Hey, Foso Social. Pretty cool, right? I mean,
very cool.
Very cool. And so, you're a big Snapchat guy. Do you think that this is the next thing that's going to happen with Snapchat as well?
That's very interesting that you bring that up. What I'm noticing, and I was mentioning that in the conversation last week, is that it seems like every single platform is kind of stealing from everybody else's playbook.
Right.
So in the end, it's probably going to happen in the sense that everybody's going to say, okay, well, now Snapchat. But I think Snapchat started with something completely different, and
Right.
also in their approach to everything. And they never looked at, it's not truly live streaming when we talk about Snapchat, right?
Right.
So you got the snippets, you got the things going on, but there's always this big competition. When Instagram stories came out, everybody says, oh, this is going to be the Snapchat killer. And I really don't think so. I think, there are different approaches to different platforms and different uses. And you see on Snapchat that there's a lot of major corporate, if you look at the discovery options in there, there's already major corporations involved in there. We're not seeing that yet on Instagram. So
right.
I think all these different platforms are looking at different formulas on how they can, survive in the environment they're involved with, because there's a lot of investments involved behind each of these platforms. So it could be that Snapchat copies something like this, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. If they just stick to their business plan and their approach to what they want to do.
Well, it's kind of cool to see all these people that I know: Terry Johnson, Dan, David Vaughn. Other people have asked questions.
David says he can't hear me. That's what he mentioned on.
Oh, that's the thing. It's not hooked up in a way where you can hear. I'm just testing it out, so it's really just one way.
Okay.
Because I'm not using any kind of platform to go to Instagram. I'm not even sure if you can, right? I just have my phone set up alongside my computer. Nazim and I are talking on Blue Jeans, and then that's going out to Facebook
Yeah.
Live. Everybody's watching on Facebook Live. So if you'd like to join the chat on Facebook Live, I'm not going to stay on Instagram all night. So just come on over and join us at rossbrand.live. It's on the Livestream Universe Facebook page, facebook.com/livestreamuniverse, or just use rossbrand.live. So here's what I think. I'm going to hop off Instagram now. I'm still a big fan of just the one broadcast at a time. But so I think that, you know, the fact that it doesn't stick around, right, is sort of limited in use to, I think, my first thought, right, and I haven't had any time to digest this. I saw Joel and Com and Brian Fanzo jump on
Joe
it
was also,
like
Joe,
3 hours ago, and my first thought is it's of limited use to businesses and brands if it's only hitting people, a small number of people who can watch it at that moment, and then it's gone, right?
right.
But maybe not. But maybe not. Maybe it's a chance to do Q&As, to demonstrate products and answer questions about, you know, like kind of customer service or something. Like, hey, we'll be on Instagram at 4:00 in the afternoon answering questions about problems you're having with your device or whatever. And maybe it's a way to, you know, directly address some problems and then not have to advertise that those problems were there, right? By letting it sit around forever.
That's a good point that you bring up. It could also be, I see a possibility of doing contests with it, in the sense that, you know, you certain, like at 4:00, we're going to be giving away so many, you know, chances to win one iPhone or whatever from a mobile company or whatever. So people come in that segment, and then after that, that's it. And then you don't have to deal with all the support stuff that comes after a live recording staying somewhere for a certain period of time. Although, you know, the great thing about Facebook, which I was mentioning to you before in the green room, is that for Casa Chiesi, we get live folks, and it's great, but we get a lot towards the website and towards everything else. We get a lot of after the event video where people just see it again and like, wow, you know, this was great. And so, you know, there is value, obviously, in the fact that the people are very busy. I mean, we're all, you know, we're all running around, we're all working, we're all doing stuff. So a lot of people don't have, you know, the chance to see stuff live.
Right.
And so when you can come back and look at the video and make the commentary and say, like, you know, this is great, or, oh, I'll check out the website, or I'll get on the mailing list or whatever, I think that's superb. So it's very interesting, the fact that Instagram will not stay, you're right, in that sense. But, you know, we're getting towards such a quick environment where information is quickly fed to you that, you know, some people, and maybe millennials, are like, okay, well, I'll go for the contest and then, you know, not worry about that. So time will tell.
Yeah, and I think for something like Casa Casey, I mean, when you look at your content, a lot of it is going to be evergreen content, right? So the great sites of Italy have been around for thousands of years, right? They're not going to be gone tomorrow. So whatever content you create is useful for as long as you have your blog and you have a YouTube channel or whatever. There's no need to do something that's here today, it's gone tomorrow, right? So I think each business sort of has to obviously find its own way with this kind of thing. And I think, like you said, I think it's there for people who think that Facebook is kind of for their parents, right? And they're, you know, the millennial generation, the younger end of it, right? For whom Instagram is where they primarily connect, right? With people, where their attention is and everything else. Getting on Instagram video and being able to say, hey, we're all getting together over here, there's a wild party over here, or, you know, wow, watch me do this, you know, take a look at so and so's birthday or whatever. They're going to get an audience faster on Instagram than they probably are on Facebook if they just press a button and go live. So we may see a lot of people who haven't gone live before, right, on Facebook, may say now, I've got my crew with me. My parents aren't on this device. My teachers aren't on this device. Let's do it. Let's go live.
Exactly. And this might be the most comfortable environment for me to do it. You mentioned the fact about people and family and stuff like that. My mom always watches everything that we do live, and she
Right.
loves it. And but it's my mom. But she's always saying to me, it's so great that on Facebook I can keep track of you and family and friends and what you guys are doing and all the exciting stuff. Today, when I was coming back from a meeting, I was with the phone going back to the office, and all of a sudden, a friend, Vicky, who is from Funky Fairy, I don't know if you guys know, people might know, they were getting married today, and she was doing the live marriage, signing the thing of the judges, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. So that's the magical thing about live stream, that I think that, you connect with people from all over the world. You see some really great content. Some of it is fundamentally important in whatever aspects. Others just simply people showing love and positive stuff and giving out, the fact that they're getting married, or they're going to, to the birthday party of their daughter. Some people might not want to see that, but some other people say, that's my friend and they're getting married, and that's very exciting. And I'm happy to be part of that. So I keep thinking that all these platforms are amazing, and also the fact that they're free.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. People are sitting down going like, well, this is like, it doesn't work, and it keeps. And I go, yeah, it doesn't work, but 10 years ago, you didn't have this option.
Right.
Maybe
Right.
you would have to send an email and maybe a picture, or now you just push a button and your video and your FaceTime, or whatever, you're doing this. And I find that to be incredible. So, more power to live streaming and to all the more platforms, I keep always saying that, the better.
Right, right. Yeah, absolutely. So, for those just joining us, thank you so much for joining us on Facebook Live today. This is Livestream Stars. I'm Ross Brand. My guest is Nazim Beltran. And Nazim, for those that don't know, you do a lifestyle blog with your wife called Casa Chiesi in Italy.
Yes, that's
but
correct.
They may be thinking, okay, he speaks like an American. He has a sort of a Middle Eastern sounding first name and a Spanish sounding last name. So how did you get to host a lifestyle blog in Italy?
It's pretty crazy. I was born in South America. My mom's Turkish. My father was from Spain. They got divorced when I was 6. My mom took me to New York. I was brought up in the States, did University of Miami, ended up working in Miami for 22 years in an architectural firm. And there I met an Italian girl who was coming from Milan to do a makeup project and work in fashion. And I just fell head over heels. And then she said, well, I'll give Miami a try. And after like 6 months, I said, no, you're not happy here. Let's go to Italy. So I moved over to Italy. I did a major change. And let me tell you, I'm in love with this country, and my wife is also. So we decided 2 years ago to just, why don't we just create a Casa Chiesi, a blog, Italian lifestyle from the point of view of an expat and an Italian, local person, in middle-aged people who enjoy Italy and love to show to everybody around the world.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so then you started. Like fast forward 20 years later, or whatever it is, right? And this Blab thing comes along. Was that your first? That's where I certainly became aware of what you were doing. Were you doing Google Hangouts or anything before that, or was Blab your start?
No, we were doing roughly when we started 2 years ago, Casa Chiesi, 3 months before Martin Sherrington, a friend of mine from some people might know in here. He's very well known, who now lives in Wales, but from London. We met in London, and he said, you know what, you need to get on Google Hangouts. So I got on Google Hangouts, and I loved it as much as everybody was complaining about Google Hangouts. I found it to be a better solution than for getting more people in a window than Skype was at the moment. And then we created Casa Chiesi, and we started doing, we would do an interview show where we would basically, me and my wife would interview people in Italy that would talk about their Italian experiences, either they were cooking and we would also hook up with people from around the world, Italians from around the world, who would speak about their experiences of Italy. And then after that, I went on to Blab in, 2 summers ago in August, and because Chef Dennis,
Right.
Chef Dennis, who I knew from, he was on Blab. We were both on Blab. We said, this is incredible. And we love Blab. But from that point on, we were not doing, me and my wife decided not to do any more live shows because we were quite busy. We were to do live interviews. And then Facebook Live came out. And then that's where we jumped on Facebook Live. And that is our platform. That and Periscope are our two platforms that we really love the most. And the main reason is that we do a lot of mobile. Basically, now we do mobile live shows from outside, which are a little bit more complicated, but they're manageable if you have good, 4G in most parts of Italy. You do.
Mm-hmm.
We end up doing lives and showing people interesting stuff like cultivation of saffron that we did up in the hills in this about a month ago, and that people love that one. And then we go on top of the Duomo, do crazy stuff like show the top of a church, Italian church from the whole view of Milan. And we find Facebook, even if there's a delay in the commentary and stuff,
Right.
which is every platform has its issues. But what I love about the most about Facebook is the post live that stays
Mm-hmm.
on in the commentaries, and we are getting a nice increase in traffic towards our website, Casa Chiesi, because of that, because we tie in a lot with the articles that we do on the site. So
Wow.
CasaChiesi.com.
So you're getting from both the Facebook Lives and just from general Facebook page posts, you're seeing traffic to your website.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's very good. We're very happy.
We obviously, like, I'm very much focused on, broadcasting from the desktop and that kind of thing. Talk about, the challenges that you face doing mobile broadcasts, or, maybe there are advantages. Maybe you like doing it, maybe you like it better. What do you encounter? How do you do a mobile broadcast?
My personal opinion is that desktop plugged in as opposed to Wi-Fi, which is
Right.
probably what your setup is, the best way to go. I mean, you get a very good connection. You control the setting of everything. So desktop for shows that explain things or for interviewing folks is the best.
Right.
Mobile for us is there's a quality issue. The challenge there is you need to have first the battery pack that your phone, that you have to connect. Your phone has to constantly, because it eats up a lot of battery.
Right.
And then we do most of ours with selfie sticks. So there's always the thing about the selfie stick going back and forth. And it's not that challenging. You just got to get good with the mic and everything, set up mics properly. And there was a lot of, Chef Dennis and Mia Voss, who have also helped us out and been on our live shows, joining in Hangouts. You learn a lot as you go along, but we've been very, very fortunate. The rule of thumb for me is to if you're going to be mobile far away from a Wi-Fi location that's not strong, is to basically try to see if you need to have a minimum of a 4G LTE. 3G just doesn't cut it. 3G, you start really pixelating a lot, and people, So, but with 4G, you get some really, really great connections. So that's one of the challenges, that when we do stories and stuff, we have to go to a location first. We have to check the type of quality. Yeah, we have to do a lot of check. And then the funny thing is, like, we did one live show that was very interesting at a location in Milan. And when we got to the location, there was a concert in the piazza that was super loud. So we just had to go around the corner and change our whole setting. So you have a lot of these, things that you have to really be on top of.
Right. And when you do mobile, are you using an iPhone, or what kind of device are you using?
Well, right now, up till now, we were using an iPhone, and then we just got this little baby here, which I'm very happy with. The OnePlus 3. It's a brand new phone.
Wow.
It's an Android phone. I got it for two reasons. Because in the company that I have, we develop Android and iOS apps. But I am an Apple fanboy, like Brian was mentioning in his show earlier today. And I was saying to him, yeah, me too, but I just got an Android. I went back to Android because of the fact that, but let me tell you, I love the quality of the camera on this. And so we're testing out with this too. And we also have used iPads for.
Right.
Yeah. So, with the Padcaster.
Right. See, now I just switched to the iPhone from from an Android phone, and my Android phone was kind of old, so it's not really a fair comparison exactly. The camera and doing video and stuff comes so much easier to me on the iPhone. It's just so much more. I don't know. It's just like it's just second nature, almost what I need to do, even before I've used it the first time, right? Um, but in terms of like how I get around social media and different apps and stuff, I mean, I just feel like the Android is faster in some ways. You got the back button. I sound like I'm complaining, right? And I love the iPhone, and it's great, and it's very powerful, and I love how it integrates with my Mac and all that kind of stuff, and how I can get my iMessages. When somebody texts me from an iPhone, I get that on my computer. All that stuff. There's amazing reasons to have it, and you get the apps first and all that. But I do find that sharing and the integration and the speed of getting from one thing to the next, if you're used to the Android, I do miss that. I miss that back button.
I know what you're talking about. As much as I'm an Apple fanboy, I'm going back to I had a Samsung before years ago, and I was kind of frustrated. It was an S3, and I was very frustrated with that, so I went back to Apple. I was very happy, but now with this puppy here, I'm super happy about the whole Google environment, how that works. And since we work a lot, we're working projects with proximity marketing, which is basically beacons, which are these little guys here.
Right.
So we're working on diverse projects with that and using nearby. We need to test it out and use it on the Android phone. So the whole Google environment is very, very interesting. And I do have to say that Google Now, which is the one, the speaking aspects that you speak into here with Google Now and get responses, is way better than Siri.
Right.
Now I'm going to get like, oops. But
so you're mainly using Android for the apps that you work on, like for business, or
we have to use both.
You have to use both. So you develop you got to.
We develop for both platforms. Yeah.
So what do you think? From what you've seen, like, what do you think's coming next around the corner, right? I asked you your live streaming prediction for 2017. We're going to have a blog post coming out shortly, maybe within a few days. But until then, in terms of like just apps and mobile, because I know you're big into mobile and apps and stuff and what you do for work, what is the average person going to see that might like change in the next year? In terms of how they use, like what we're using apps or how we use our apps or how we use mobile.
This is gonna be also a pitch of what we basically
and it's not going to be 5G yet, right? That's a few years away.
That is a few years ago. No, I think what's very interesting is apps have. There's a thing about apps, and the geeky folks really love to play. But we're noticing that somehow there's a decrease on app installation, and in the sense that. So that's why with the project that we're working on with beacons and proximity marketing, proximity is basically what the concept behind is that you pass by a store or you're at the Jacob Center Conference Center and you have all the booths with the speakers. You pass by a booth and you turn on just the Bluetooth on your phone and you get a notification from that booth saying, okay, this is stand number C5 where we have this company with their whole they have a landing page that sends you information. By using the technology that we're working with currently, and we have a major pitch on Thursday for one of Italy's biggest motorcycle companies. What you're doing here is, as opposed to the QR code, remember the famous QR readers, is you're basically passing by your phone and getting the information sent to you without a privacy issue, without downloading an app, without doing that extra step. It's all automatic, and the users getting quicker information. So I think mobile with the Internet of Things, and that's all, not only mobile, it's also all the devices. Right. It's going to get tied into this system of information going as quick as possible to a mobile, because people are losing. A lot of people don't have, especially kids, they don't have the patience. Millennials don't have patience. They just want something real fast.
Right.
And that's why maybe spectacle of Snapchat is a very interesting concept, because you're basically doing something quickly, doing 10-second snippets without your hands very quickly. So all these applications that we see on mobile that are doing the quicker steps toward sending out information are going to be, in my opinion, the ones that win in the market. You know.
Right, right. And is this going to be something that you opt into? I guess you can't opt in to be notified about a store that you don't know about, right? So
There
you
you
mentioned
go.
this.
As you pass by the store, there has to be some sort of graphical information at the store saying, "Turn on your Bluetooth for special offers in the store." Person
Okay.
turns on the Bluetooth, they see the beacon, but if they don't
So it's
want to
all
use.
opt in, right? It's not like you're just walking along and all of a sudden you start getting notifications or
Correct. That's the main key, that people find that to be extremely bothersome. You don't
right,
want to be pinged all 2 seconds, like bing, bing, bing. No, you opt in, you see it. Okay, hey, there's a coupon here. I'm getting a discount. I'm getting $20 off an item. I come into the store.
right, right.
That's a store example. With the motorcycle company, we're basically offering a lot of each model motorcycle will have a beacon that sends out precise information about what that is before you talk to the salesperson already.
Wow, that's fascinating.
It's
And
very fascinating, yeah.
and I guess it like you know how in New York City you can have directions to somewhere and you're on a block and there's like 300 stores on the block and you're like, okay, I think I'm there. I'm not seeing the address. Maybe it's on the other. I'm sure that you can get information like instantaneously then, right? That'll tell you like, okay, which way to
If,
go, right? It's no
if
longer
you,
like because your GPS recalculating thing isn't working in a crowded city block or what.
exactly, exactly. Well, this one works with Bluetooth, and what happens is that you can control the radius of extent that they can go. Up till now,
Right.
there's 70. The maximum is 70 meters, which I think is roughly, is that 500 feet? Maybe I might be wrong. So you can calculate them based on radiuses of emission. But the main important thing is there's the advantages that our clients are looking at, that they love about it, that there's no need to build an app or download an app,
Mm-hmm.
and you can automatically update via the backend that we're using the landing pages for the beacons in relative. You don't have to rebuild the app, submit it to the store, get it approved, and feed something off a server. So that, and then the second thing is the privacy issue, because people are very picky about privacy. People don't want to have okay, this guy's pinging me, and why do I have to come in? No, you're just seeing a web page. That's all you're seeing with information. There's no big mystery.
Right, right. We're talking with Nazim Beltran. He runs the Casa Casey lifestyle blog. He's also very knowledgeable about tech and mobile, and a live streamer who goes back to Google Plus Hangouts and Blab. And Nazim, one of the questions I guess I've been wondering about when it comes to kind of mobile and tech is when you have multiple devices now, right? And
Right.
you have like 2 3 screens going, right? People have an iPad that they're using and they have their phone next to them.
Yeah, Brian Fanzo.
Yeah, well, when you're streaming to 7 different locations, right? uh,
Exactly.
it's a lot to keep track of when you start getting notifications, right? Like it starts. I mean, I have 2 devices generally, right? I have my laptop and my phone, and I start getting like a text or an iMessage or something, right? And all of a sudden, it's hitting me on 2 devices at different times. And
Right.
not that it's the worst thing in the world; it's better than not getting it. But I don't think about turning off notifications, and it does get like, okay, do I have my notifications off now? What am I getting? Like, how do you balance that to where you still want to get the essential information, so you don't want to shut everything down. At the same time, you're starting to get bombarded from apps, from texts, from messages, from Facebook Messenger, from Snapchat, and I'm sure for those who are complete digital natives, this is just like the way of life. But for me, it's like, okay, go back to the days of like a phone call and stuff like that when this was actually a telephone, right? So, I'm just wondering, like, now that all my devices are integrated, right, and they're all like, I've connected all my accounts across devices, so I have all my information wherever I go. I want that information to stop barking at me from 3
Well, well,
directions.
one of the great things about this iOS, and I'm not working for a company or doing an ad
Right,
for it.
right.
The OnePlus 3, it has this thing. It's magical. You just go like this to the top, and it goes into silent mode, and all the notifications are gone.
Right,
It's
right.
the quickest way.
Oh,
But
wow.
no, but I mean, it's as Terry was mentioning, and I just noticed here, she says, basically that she has app fatigue. I mean, we're bombarded consistently with
Right.
stuff, and so you got to, in my opinion, organize. I also have the same issue. If I get a FaceTime call, it goes on the iPad and goes in delay on the different things, and you're like,
Right.
oh my goodness, you
Which
know.
one do I answer it on?
Exactly. It's because we get a little bit distracted and we keep everything on because but
Right.
it's, but there's a way of managing it. I use a lot the do not disturb notification on the MacBooks whenever, I have to concentrate on work. And then the bad thing is though, then I miss a lot of great live streams of people that I would love to watch. You got to do this balance act because we are consistently bombarded with stuff, and it's pretty crazy. It's
Yeah.
exciting, but at the same time, it's crazy. It's and then another thing I was going to bring up, Ross, is that I not in I'm always been the type of guy that people have to send me information for an email. Okay, send it to me. Now you get people sending you stuff via Facebook, or you get people sending you stuff. And so you got to go back on the stream and say, this guy sent me something. And I keep telling people, please send me an email. But the email is kind of losing its, everybody's like, oh, well, dude, I on WhatsApp, I sent you that thing. And I go, yeah, but it's not, I got to go check the stream,
Right, right.
back on the stream to find your vital information because you wanted me to update the website or do whatever to whatever project we're working on. So I think we're losing a little bit of the connect with the fastness of people doing stuff. I'm always on WhatsApp. Our daughter, she
Right.
uses WhatsApp, and she goes, "Dad, you didn't check my WhatsApp." And I go, "Sweetie, you're right."
Yeah. I mean, I think Facebook Messenger is my primary communication tool
Well, I love it.
except for, deep work related things I'm not going to do through Facebook Messenger because that's just not where I'm connected. But in terms of like people who I'm connected to socially and I'm connected to with live streaming and things like that, I mean, like just in doing this piece on predictions for 2017, it's easier to Facebook message and then just look down my message one after the next. Okay, I got the thing from this person, I got it from this person, I got it from this person, to go to an email and it just seems like I'm like more of an effort, right? Or it's
I'm going to do a prediction. I'm going to get into trouble because the people that love email lists and their email, they hate when I say stuff like this. But I think 5 to 10 years from now, the kids are not. My daughter never looks at. She doesn't look at an email. And I said, I sent you an email, and she said, no, I didn't look at it. Dad.
right.
Tell me on WhatsApp, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So we're seeing this, down the road. I mean, business-wise, it's difficult because business-wise, you always need to have, for example, if you're dealing with a project and discussing something, it's always good to have something written that you say, okay, you sent us an email where you approved this on this date and that date. If somebody sends via Facebook and says, go ahead with whatever, it's approved, afterwards, I got, it gets complicated.
It's not searchable in the same way that you can pull up the email and say, what did we agree to? What was our date? What were the terms?
For work-related things, I still stick to email. But what you're talking about, for me, Facebook is ideal.
Right,
and
right.
I ping the people from Blab that are now my friends on Facebook. Today I was talking with Jonathan Tripp. I called him up. I said, dude, long time no see. And we just went into a chat in 2 seconds and spoke. So I find that incredibly great.
And then, I find more and more like I'm just going into like a peer in or something like that just to have a conversation, with people and
there's so many great platforms.
Having to travel to meetings and things like that, and it's just so easy to use. I wanted to ask you, you're also involved with you own Park Lane, it's called, right?
Parkmedia.
Parkmedia, which is
I wish I'm
probably the 100th person. You own Park Avenue in New York City. Which is your favorite of the luxury part? No, but you do web design. That's a web agency, right?
It's a web agency, correct.
Are your customers all over the world, or are they primarily located in Italy?
They're primarily located in Milan, and they're mostly fashion-oriented. Versace is one of them. We do basically big size websites, very big corporate sites, design companies, architectural firms, and we do not do WordPress. We basically we have our own
Mhm.
custom system that we give to the client, which is very .NET Windows based, so
Oh, okay.
it's not WordPress. And the projects with relatively big budgets, but we do see, and this is another interesting thing I'd like to bring up. I do see a transition where the website still is important, but it's also starting to lose a little bit of its. I wouldn't say it's pizzazz, because that's a bad word to use. But basically, people are saying, well, we can do any website on WordPress and with a template. And let me tell you, WordPress is great. I mean, I like
Hmm.
WordPress. I'm not knocking it. But for major big projects with big database backends that need to be updated by a marketing department inside a company,
WordPress isn't
it's
a great out of the box solution for people like
it's not.
that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So,
But
but
for
we are
small
transit.
businesses, it's great,
Oh,
right?
yeah. It's. I would. Yeah. When a company or person, when people come up to us and they say, well, this is the sort of budget I have, then we have them WordPress sites, giving me a customized solution. But when we have fashion houses that want something a little bit with more pizzazz, with more, you
Right.
know, not templatey looking, then we end up. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. I know I'm gonna get the WordPress folks, which I adore. WordPress programs are gonna come down on Nazim and say, Nazim says it WordPress. No, WordPress is, all the tools are great.
But you said you customize it, so you
Yeah,
customize it for people who, so it's not, they're not getting the exact same theme that everybody else is using, right?
no, exactly. Which makes it complicated in the sense of, what happens here is, in the fashion and design industry in Milan, we work with a lot of graphic design studios that want sophisticated. I mean, we used to very much specialize on Flash sites about 10 years ago, and people really wanted the whole Flash experience that was like a movie. So that's the sort of stuff that we were doing, till finally Flash got knocked out because of its lack of portability towards the iPad and towards mobile. And then so we went back to HTML5 and
Right.
doing the same sophisticated stuff. And luckily, companies still pay us the money that they do for doing that.
Right, right.
I can't complain.
So what trends are you seeing in web design that might signal maybe a little bit of a departure from what we had been seeing like the last 3 or 4 years?
I think we're still looking at HTML5. We're still
Hmm.
looking at variations on the theme with different types of CSS. And I think WordPress is going to really advance even more and get a big piece of the market, because you can do static sites that are quite sophisticated. I'm not knocking WordPress. I mean, in
Right, right.
fact, our transition towards apps and towards beacon technology is because I want to cover another whole field of, and we're also looking at VR, which I have not mentioned. We are doing a VR project.
Oh, explain to me
Yeah.
what VR.
Yeah.
I understand that there's virtual reality, right? And I
Right.
understand that you put these glasses on and it's like you're there, but how uh, is that something that is using live video, or is it always something like a pre-recorded
Yeah,
experience or
well, in the one that we're doing, it's a pre-recorded experience. In the pitch that we have, in the project that we have for this motorcycle company, there's a series of stores where they have different type of motorcycles at the store, but you cannot have all the models in the store. They just have selected models. So
right?
with cardboard, with Google Cardboard, which is, most people have seen, or the plastic ones, it's not Oculus Rift, the project that we're
Mhm.
involved with. You put this on, and basically you can go and look at the model and then go to another room, and an umbrella girl comes. I'm already talking about this project. The umbrella girl, those umbrella girls from the race car, because it's a race car oriented. It's
Right.
not the best, but comes in and shows you a different type of, in 360, shows you a different type of model. And then you go into,
Interesting.
but as you move around, it's basically marketing this project. I mean,
Right,
it's a,
right.
yeah.
I mean, do you think we're gonna see in the next year VR become a big part of how a lot of companies market it, or are we still a way off from that?
I really wish, it's very interesting. Ryan Anderson, who's a buddy. I mean, we discussed this
Right.
already. I love what they're doing with VR Scout. They're really looking at the cutting edge on this. I think it's still early days for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think these devices do not let you do sophisticated VR as the Oculus Rift does. And
Mm-hmm.
the Oculus Rift lets you do a lot of things, but you always need a very heavy processing computer to be able to do that.
Right.
So it's going to be very big on the gaming. I think gaming's going to be huge on that. They're going to be probably the first ones that take off on it. And then afterwards, in a different setting, sort of museums and sort of these sort of things that we're already seeing, it gets. I think it's going to become big. AR, I think, is the connecting aspect of it that's going to even be the smarter part. Not so
Right.
much
Right.
the VR aspects, the AR aspects. Yeah. But these are still early days. I don't think it's. I mean, it's going to take a while.
So VR would be then more like games and fun stuff, and AR
Marketing and
more is like how do you augment reality? Like how do you enhance the experience of
enhance
what?
experience, but also enhance experience in the sense of sophisticated projects like hospitals where
Mhm.
doctors can come in and have the AR aspects of
Right.
a project or whatever right in their eye. That's I think that's going to be the killer, and that's going
Wow.
to happen. Yeah, yeah.
Now, I'm not a big Snapchat person. You said you did try the glasses.
No, I haven't tried the glasses. I
Oh, you
haven't got my
haven't
hands
tried.
on them. Yeah,
Are they VR glasses or
no,
what?
they're not. They're
What?
not. They're basically glass. They're kind of they have two cameras on the side from what I've seen, and Carlos Gil did. He's really explained it very well.
Right.
And what they do is they do 10-second snippets, and they send it
Okay.
straight to your phone, and then you have to upgrade. And it comes out circular, from what I get. With some people are complaining they wish it would come out square as opposed to the circular aspects. But I've seen Ryan do a couple, and they look very interesting.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna have
there's
to
some.
watch some of those just to check it out and
Watch
see
them,
what it's
watch them.
all about. Yeah.
They're hard to get. I mean, here in Europe, I think in London, there are probably some folks that I met in Craig Fox, who I met, he's gotten a hand on a pair, and cost wise, they're 129. I mean, remember, I was wondering about the privacy issue behind this, but it seems that nobody cares. Because with Google Glass, it was a big thing. Oh, no, you can't go out because it was pretty obvious that you had
Right.
something that
Right.
people with these glasses, they look like regular sunglasses, and so I don't think people are noticing that much.
Right. Right. So let's talk in the time we have left a little bit about Casa Casey and what are the big most popular places for people who discover you through the website and become interested. What are some of the top places that you recommend that they visit if they're
In
coming to
Italy,
Italy, if they're coming to your neck of the woods, so to speak?
first of all they have to pass by our place and have a glass of wine with us. I mean, that's an open invitation to everybody here. Everybody knows that I keep inviting everybody. Say, "Oh, coming next year, I'll be by." I had like two or three people show. Well, Mia Voss showed up, and she stayed with us for a week.
Oh, that's awesome.
Chef Dennis promised that next year he's coming, so I'm going to hold him to that. But no, I think my favorites are always been Venice. I'm a big Venice
Hmm.
fan. Rome is fantastic. Florence, Siena, and I like the West Coast where I spend a lot of time because my mother-in-law lives in Camogli, which is
Hmm.
close to Genova. Because I go down once a week to. I'm an architect. I also consult for a company that designs cruise ships. Not too many people know this.
Wow.
And so I go tomorrow morning at 7. I got to catch a train and go down to Genova. And I'm usually down there 2 days a week. And I stay in Camogli, which is a beautiful place right by Portofino. Another
Wow.
favorite place. And yeah, I mean that we try to show these sort of things. My wife likes to go off the beaten path a little bit. She doesn't
Hmm.
want to go. So we do a lot of that on the website too. We show people different places or different secrets of Milan or different other locations that they're not aware of. And then my wife has done on the website. She does some cooking too, but and I'm dying for her to
Right.
do some more. But she's like, she's a great cook, and she's really good on when she explains the films. We did a risotto recently on
Right.
one of our last ones, but she says, I don't want to be stuck in the kitchen teaching people how to cook. And I said, but she wrote a cookbook, which is very interesting because she wrote a cookbook which we just promoted on our last newsletter. It's also available as an iPad app. It's you can find it at eatingheart.com. So if anybody's interested in taking a look at it, It's a very nice cookbook because it's not so much just cooking, but there's a story behind every recipe of people in her life, of people she's worked with in the fashion, and it's somehow related to food.
Right.
So it's very, very nice. So that's part of that's how we got involved with Casa Chiesi, because she first did the cookbook,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was self-published, and she said, you know what? And I said, well, we love this country so much. Why don't we just do a nice blog about Italy?
Right, right.
And we've
Jen
been going
Nelson,
at it for 2 years and love it.
Jen Nelson, who hosts the Wine Antics show and so does wine programming, she says she wants your life.
Well, she's welcome to have it. Now, I have to tell you, Ross. I'm very happy about. I'm a U.S. citizen. I miss my friends in the States. I
Right.
miss egg. This time of the year, I miss eggnog a lot.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Lee today was saying, "Oh, you can make a recipe yourself," and I go, "No, I miss eggnog. I do miss a lot of things about the States, but I've been living here for 24 years, and this country is fantastic. The pace of
Wow.
life, the way of life. You work hard, you play hard, but there's a lot of great things. And I see Sabrina Cadini is here tonight watching, and she's from Milan. Now she lives in San Diego, and we become close friends.
Right.
And she knows what I'm talking about. I mean, as much as I love my years in the States were great. I miss it. I miss a lot of things about it, but this country has so much to offer.
That's awesome. How long? I mean, eventually I am going to make a trip to Italy. How long do you think somebody on their first trip should plan to stay so that they can,
My
you
ideal
know,
time is 10 to 15 days, minimum 10. I remember one thing about the States is that whenever I had to take a vacation, it's like, you only get 1 week. And I was like, what do you mean
right,
only? I
right.
can't. Well, maybe you can accumulate 10 days in 2 years. And so once I moved over here, it's kind of like, August is a holiday. It's
Right.
2 weeks in Christmas. It's a different pace. But
Mhm.
I know that people cannot afford so much time. So if you have roughly 10 days, that's a good time.
You could do that.
You can do it, but don't do a crazy hopping around 5 cities, and because then you go,
Right, right.
you get back wrecked. I would stick to. I mean, as much as I love Milan, I profess a lot about Milan as a great. I love it.
Hmm.
There's that are probably, I mean, Venice is huge, and Rome is you need to go to Rome. I mean,
And
Rome is.
how far are you from Venice?
I'm roughly 3.5 hours
Hmm.
by train. And now there's this one great thing about Italy is that there's a super fast train from Milan to Rome.
Right.
It's like the TGV, and it does it in 3.5 hours. Milan Rome.
Wow.
If you drive there, it's 6 hours. So
And when's the best times of year to visit?
spring, fall,
Spring, fall.
August. Most people can only afford to take time off and come in August. August is really crowded.
Right,
It's
right.
really, I mean, because everybody goes on holidays. So if you go to the beach, to the coast in Liguria, it's packed with people. The mountains are still always quite empty. Not to, but if you go to the main big cities in August, and it gets to be very hot. But it
Right,
depends on
right.
when people can. But I would highly recommend spring and fall. Those are the best times. April is ideal.
Sabrina says she misses Milan and that Tuscany and Umbria are her
Yeah.
favorites.
Well, Sabrina's supposed to come relatively soon to Milan, and I'm hoping to get to meet her in real life because we've always met via video or via
Right, right.
chat.
That's awesome.
And
Thank you so much, Nazim. If there's anything I can do, if you're in New York, whatever, definitely say hello.
I will
And
definitely. I
we'll
have a
get
lot of folks.
together.
I'm due for a trip in New York next year, so I think that's going to be a
Oh,
reality.
awesome.
And a lot of people already know about it, so they're already like, "Oh, you got to come by." So I'm going to meet them. I'll also see. I want to say hello to most of the folks. Carl's
Sure.
Phoenix is here. Sabrina. Who else did I miss? Let me see. Let's see who was here. I'm very happy that people showed up and watched the show. We were super happy.
Anna's
Um,
here. Anna
Anna's
D'Onofrio.
here. Yeah, yeah. Who I met on
Terry
Blab.
Johnson, Patricia Murray.
Jen Nielsen, Patricia Murray. Hey, Patricia, how you doing? David Vaughan is here. Great, Brad, Kevin. Great to see everybody here. And 58 more. Wow.
Wow. You bring the crowds, Nazim. Thank you so much again for joining us, and it's always fun to have you on. I'm sure we'll do more shows together, and like I say, I
Ross,
hope we can meet when you're in the New York area. Or
Ross, a huge pleasure to stay up till 1 a.m. to join your show.
oh, thank you. Now get some sleep. Don't be so crazy. Have a great night. Have a great night, and
Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays.
Yeah,
to
happy
everybody.
holidays. Merry Christmas, Nazim.
A little early, but yeah.
Yeah.
Take care.
Have
everybody.
a great night. Take
Thanks.
care.